welcome to the first Friday in March and to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. We have a full and fantastic lineup for you today. We'll be diving into the world of numbers, breaking down how the Ministry of Labour and Social Security plans to use its budget allocation to offset expenses and drive key projects for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. We'll also be exploring smart ways to navigate life's changes and sharing practical tips on how each of us can play our part in protecting the environment. It's an informative and empowering program, and you won't want to miss all that's coming up right after the news. Please stay with us.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Friday, March 6, 2026. A draft heads of terms for an all-island electricity license scheduled to take effect in 2027 has been approved by Cabinet. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz made the disclosure during Wednesday's post-Cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. He says the document outlines the key commercial and regulatory features that will guide Jamaica's modernized electricity licensing framework.
In November 2025, the ministry entered a new contract with Francis Maud Associates representing phase 1 of a structured three-phase reform process to establish a modernized license framework. The initial phase runs through April 26 and focuses on defining the key commercial, regulatory, and legal foundations for the new regime.
Minister Vaz says the work is being led by a dedicated electricity license negotiation team comprising representatives from the Ministry of Energy, the Attorney General's Chambers, Ministry of Finance, and the Office of Utilities Regulation, along with private sector and academic energy specialists.
Beginning in April 26, FMA's broader workstream schedule will advance into a 16-month sectoral framework development and implementation phase. This includes the preparation of a new Electricity Act, amendments to the OUR Act, strengthened enforcement provisions, establishment of the LCCCJ renegotiation of power purchase agreements, updated policies to address system losses and grid resilience, and publication of a draft white paper setting out the full scope of reforms.
Minister Vaz adds that the process also outlines possible pathways depending on the outcome of negotiations. These include new licensing arrangements for transmission, distribution and generation, and, where feasible, the competitive engagement of alternative operators. Meanwhile, electricity has now been restored to 99% of customers on the grid operated by the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says more than 8,000 customers remain without power, mainly in the hardest hit parishes.
8,653 customers, as of today, are still without power. JPS will continue to deploy crews while working 24/7 for the month of March and April to complete restoration.
Of the remaining customers, about 5,000 are expected to be reconnected in March, with the final 3,600 scheduled for restoration in April. Jamaica could know within 2 to 3 months whether commercially viable oil and gas reserves exist offshore. That's according to Energy Minister Darrell Vaz, who outlined the progress on exploration activities in the Walton and Morant basins at this week's post-Cabinet press briefing.
Echo sounder data was collected to map the seafloor. Heat flow probe data was gathered to analyze temperature gradients. Most importantly, piston cores were taken from 42 locations across the Walton and Morant basins for direct testings of oil and gas presence. These cores have now been offloaded and are en route to a lab in the United States for detailed analysis.
The Walton and Morant license area extends from St. Thomas in the east to Westmoreland in the west and is being explored by United Oil and Gas, a United Kingdom-based company. Minister Vaz says the data will inform the country's energy future.
This is not simply a technical exercise, it is a meaningful step towards understanding the geological potential of offshore Jamaica. The data collected is state-of-the-art and it will inform evidence-based decision-making about the country's energy future.
The Bureau of Standards Jamaica, BSJ, has launched Jamaica's first suite of information and communications technology, ICT, accessibility standards. The 8 standards were officially launched at the BSJ multipurpose facility in Kingston recently. They outline requirements and provide guidance for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving the accessibility of ICT systems across all organizations. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Sansia Bennett-Templar, says these will promote inclusive and equitable access to digital information and products.
It operationalizes our commitment under the Disabilities Act 2014 and signals clearly that digital inclusion should not be aspirational, that it has to become standard practice. As Jamaica accelerated digital transformation across government, education, finance, commerce, public service, we must ensure that transformation is inclusive by design.
The Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Act of 2026 has been gazetted and is now in effect. The new law introduces reforms aimed at helping rehabilitated individuals reintegrate into society, including provisions for the automatic expungement of certain records. Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Delroy Chuck provided an update at this week's post-cabinet press briefing.
The government has long recognized that expungement plays a critical role in enabling rehabilitated persons to reintegrate into society. Access to employment, professional licensing, educational opportunities, and international travel may all be adversely affected by the existence of a criminal record. The reform is therefore grounded in the principle of a meaningful second chance.
The legislation establishes a 2-stage process for treating with the criminal records of rehabilitated persons. Once the rehabilitation period expires, qualifying convictions will automatically be treated as having been spent.
The second stage permits the rehabilitated person to apply to the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Board for the expungement of the spent conviction from his or her criminal record.
The Act also provides for the automatic expungement of certain non-custodial convictions once the individual has not reoffended. The legislation received the assent from Governor General Sir Patrick Allen on February 20. And finally, Minister of Education Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says her ministry will be working to strengthen psychosocial support systems to better assist students across the island. The announcement follows the tragic death of an Ocho Rios High School student. The student, Devon Shero, reportedly died after being struck in the back of the head with a metal chair during an altercation Wednesday morning. The other student involved in the incident is now in police custody as investigations continue. Dr. Morris-Dixon says the tragedy highlights the emotional pain and anger affecting many young people across the country.
We in the Ministry of Education, we're going to do everything we can to support the school during this difficult time. Our councillors are here. We have councillors from other parishes too that have come in to support the school. It's not going to be a one-day effort. It's going to have to be many months of interventions, and we are prepared to do that, and whatever the school asks for, we will do it.
The minister was accompanied on her visit to the school by Member of Parliament for St. Ann Northeast, Matthew Samuda.
We are deeply hurt for the families that have lost young men this morning. We extend my personal condolences and indeed the condolences of my team to the family that is grieving this morning.
Following the visit to the school, the team traveled to the home of the grieving family to offer condolences and support. And that's it for JS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency, NLA, can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one agency, one goal.
Thank you for staying with us. Each fiscal year, the government presents a national budget, allocating funds to ministries through recurrent spending for daily operations and capital spending for new projects and infrastructure. In our next feature, we examine how the Ministry of Labour and Social Security will utilize its allocation for the 2026-2027 fiscal year.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is advancing a bold vision for Jamaica, one that balances a responsive labour market with strong social protection systems while fostering a culture of national productivity. For the 2026-2027 fiscal year, the ministry has been allocated $21.28 billion. The funds will be used to deliver critical programs that transform lives.
The best way to ensure that is to put in place tools that allow us to identify the gaps, find the ways to put solutions to those problems, and to make that sustainable.
Most of the ministry's budget will support interventions to identify and fill gaps within the social protection framework. $655.85 million is dedicated to supporting persons with disabilities through the Abilities Foundation and the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities JCPD. Support for the elderly has increased by over $500,000 with a $1.69 billion allocation. It includes funding for the National Council for Senior Citizens and the payment of bi-monthly cash grants to elderly persons who are not in receipt of a pension, disability grant, welfare support, or residing in a government state-run facility. $473.5 million is also set aside to provide cash transfers to vulnerable persons impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Other notable provisions include continued funding of PATH beneficiary and social assistance programs. Just over $10.5 billion is set aside for both.
It's the new era of governance. It's caring in action, and it is the real effect of a policy directive that says no one left behind.
Beyond social assistance, the ministry is also investing in workforce development and innovation. Approximately $81.4 million has been allocated to strengthen the Electronic Labour Exchange ELE, a key component of the Labour Market Information System LMIS. This is creating a streamlined digital platform where job seekers can connect with employers, supporting a more efficient and accessible job market.
We have to focus on areas where Jamaica can compete internationally, where we must pursue our opportunity to integrate into larger markets and to be innovative.
The ministry also continues to provide conciliation services and dispute resolution support to improve the labor climate for all stakeholders while work progresses towards the elimination of child labor in Jamaica. In 2025, more than 13,000 Jamaicans participated in the Overseas Farm Work Program, while nearly 2,000 secured jobs in the hospitality sector in Canada and the United States. Approximately $444 million is allocated for the management of the Overseas Employment Program in the new fiscal year to give similar opportunities to other Jamaicans. In addition to its recurrent budget, the ministry has received $300.9 million in capital funding to advance the Social Protection for Increased Resilience and Opportunities SPIRO program. Launched in 2024 and scheduled to run until January 2030, SPIRO is designed to expand and strengthen Jamaica's social protection systems, particularly its capacity to respond to shocks. Significant milestones so far include cabinet approval for unemployment insurance. Additionally, drafting instructions have been completed for amendments to the NIS and Employment Acts. A strategy document for Labour Market Information System has also been developed, so too a report on education and training access for persons with disabilities. During the 2026-2027 fiscal year, the ministry plans to advance legislative changes for unemployment insurance. A national communication campaign will also be launched, while labor market recovery will be boosted through field engagements with job seekers and employers. A post-hurricane labor market assessment is also to be conducted, and a contract will be awarded to develop a social protection information system.
We are building a financial safety net that will provide workers with security and stability when they need it the most. And this isn't just about surviving tough times, it's about what we call bouncing back stronger.
No one enters marriage expecting it to end in divorce, yet sometimes life takes that unexpected and difficult path. In our next feature, we walk you through the divorce process, providing clear, practical information so you can approach it informed and prepared.
A divorce is a formal termination of a marriage which includes property distribution, support payments, and child custody arrangements. While often dramatized in TV shows, the process can be simple. In Jamaica, divorce applications are generally processed through paperwork. But who can file for a divorce in Jamaica? Well, you may apply if you meet one of the following criteria. You are a Jamaican national. You are domiciled in Jamaica at the start of the proceedings. You have resided in Jamaica for at least 12 months immediately before the proceedings begin. There are specific circumstances under which a divorce may be granted, but the only grounds for granting a divorce relate to the irretrievable breakdown of the marriage. Parties must be separated for a minimum of 12 months, regardless of attempts at reconciliation. Even if they live in the same house, they can still be considered separated if they sleep in separate bedrooms or no longer engage in sexual relations or household duties for one another. Special considerations apply to marriages lasting less than 2 years, and additional requirements exist when children are involved. A divorce order will not be issued unless the court is satisfied that suitable arrangements have been made for any relevant children. Divorce can be simple if there are no children, maintenance conflicts, or property partition issues. It is also important to note that these factors influence the cost for the divorce proceedings. Now to the application process. Step 1. Filing the petition. The petition is a document that describes the history of the marriage and the reasons for the separation. Once drafted and filed by your attorney to the Supreme Court, the registrar reviews it and certifies it as a true copy, affixing the court's seal. This certified copy is then returned to your attorney, who will serve it on your spouse. Step 2. Service of a true copy of the petition. Your spouse must now be served with the petition. A process server will be retained to deliver the document according to your instructions. Your spouse has 14 days from the date of service to reply by filing an acknowledgement of service stating whether the divorce is contested or uncontested. If the divorce is contested, a hearing date will be scheduled, and the petitioner may be required to establish all the facts stated in the petition, including the separation and the difficulty of resuming cohabitation. If your husband or wife says in the acknowledgement of service that they will not oppose the divorce, you may proceed to step 3. Step 3. Applying for decree nisi. 14 days after the true copy of the petition is served on your spouse in Jamaica, provided there is no objection to the proceedings, the petitioner may apply to the court for a decree nisi. This is the first order that indicates the dissolution of the marriage. the application can be heard on paper, which means that the parties do not need to appear in court. Step 4. Applying for Decree Absolute. 6 weeks after the decree nisi is issued, the petitioner may seek the last order in the divorce process, known as the Decree Absolute. This application is also reviewed on paper, so the parties are not required to attend a hearing. This is the final stage of the dissolution process, and the Decree Absolute serves as proof that your marriage has been resolved. Everyone's reasons for divorce and individual circumstances are different, which can affect the ease or difficulty of obtaining one. It's important to consult with your attorney for the best advice at every step of the process.
Up next, we take you behind the scenes for an inside look at how waste is transformed into compost by the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Compost is one of the richest forms of soil nutrient. So here we are buying fertilizer for huge sums of money, when in fact we are throwing away something which is richer in many regards than what we are buying, spending hard cash for. We, from time to time, do what we call garbage characterization survey. This is where we actually go island-wide and take samples of the garbage and look at what make up the garbage. All the surveys that are done in recent past points to one particular set of dynamic. The compostables are always the highest. 67% in some survey, 65% in some. We eat vegetables. We do ground provisions, the peelings from those. We use cardboards, newspapers, lots of stuff that can be broken down and can be put to good use. With such a high percentage of the solid waste being compostable, we are therefore forced to look at how we're going to manage in the best way possible, in the most efficient way possible, that high percentage of the garbage.
Composting is a rich form of soil that is broken down by microorganisms to become either fertilizer or soil. Now we're going to do a demonstration to show you how we can do it. First, if we're starting, this is our kitchen waste. So if you're starting a compost bin at home, you need to get your kitchen peel, your banana, your lettuce, your cabbage, your tomatoes, and you cut them in finer particles. It will make it break down much faster. In order for the microorganism to work effectively, you need moisture, you need air, and you need heat. You can use a hand shovel or your hands. Too much moisture will allow the stuff to rot and it won't decompose. And if it is too dry, the microorganisms won't be able to work effectively. So you need to get a right mixture. If you squeeze it with a fist, you shouldn't have any water running out of it. If it's dripping, it is okay. If it is running out of it, that means you have too much water. So now this is our compost. If you keep this moisture in your compost, it will give you a maturity rate of 3.5 months. And you'll get this final product, which is this right here. Compost, what it does, the longer it stays into the ground, is the richer it becomes. going to demonstrate how we use our compost for potting. We're going to pot a few plants using our compost. This plant is called spider fern. It is an indoor plant that does like a fair amount of water. It likes a light mixture. The composting can be used for indoor and outdoor plants. This plant is called a bougainvillea. It is an outdoor plant. It likes a lot of sunlight. It blooms a lot, and it likes dry areas. The compost is offer drainage. It doesn't keep the water too long. This is now 6 weeks old, and this is 3 weeks after being planted as a seedling, using our compost. And this bougainvillea is 6 weeks after being planted by our compost. And they're just blooming, blooming, blooming. This is a mature spider fern that we use for our rentals, and this is about 2.5 months old.
The other benefit is that we at the NSWMA, we would need less trucks. Now, right now, our biggest problem is trucks to remove garbage. Can you imagine if we could take out the 67%, which we could convert at source? What that would do to our national budget? Gas oil, repairs of trucks, labor to work on the trucks. Just look at it. It is huge savings that could come. Exponential is about getting a behavioral change at source that will see significant reduction in solid waste. We want to see this reduction and to see it in a very tangible way. And we believe that composting provides that excellent opportunity.
When it comes to world-class coffee, Jamaica stands in a league of its own. Cultivated here since the 1700s, it remains one of the island's premier agricultural exports. And to celebrate that rich, bold and unmistakable flavor, all roads lead tomorrow to the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival at the Hope Botanical Gardens. Patrons will not only savor Jamaica's finest brews, but will also enjoy a dynamic collaboration with Street and the Market, a flagship showcase of the Jamaica Food and Drink Festival. The event represents a landmark public-private partnership between the Ministry of Tourism through the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, and the festival's organizers. It's a true celebration of Jamaica's world-renowned Blue Mountain coffee, perfectly paired with the island's vibrant cuisine and culture, promising one unforgettable day. See you there. This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine, right here on this station. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the repeat and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching. And as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.